You mentioned John Cena. What was a young John Cena like?
Oh man, he was yeah, he was John. I mean, he I don't even know how to describe it, but like he because the only reason I'm hesitating to tell is because like I don't know. I don't know, but he I mean he was never malicious or anything like that, but he just did obnoxious stuff a lot in funny ways where,
Okay.
uh and the things we talk about are things he do, like, um, you know, fl flying squirrel in the locker room. He'd just be naked and he'd just, he, just run around, flying squirrel. Just he was funny. He was the best, and he really took care of us a lot when we were on the road, especially just he I think for me when I was on the road and also just being myself, like, yeah, it was me, him, and Dinsmore, and yeah, he was just always just doing his best to keep me out of trouble. We were always to the gym, get on a consistent schedule. Not that I was at risk of getting into trouble, but just he kind of showed me what it was to live life on the road, and yeah, he was kind of like a big brother. Gave me my first pair of professional wrestling boots, actually, because I couldn't afford them back then. And Cena had every single matching pair of gear. He had white shorts with maroon lining. He had boots with white, inside, the wingtip with maroon lining. And then he had it reversed. He had every single color, every single set in reverse. And it was just, so when I didn't have boots, he gave me a nice pair of white ones, which I think Mondo took from me. Still has them, that bastard.
What was it like traveling with the biggest star in pro wrestling? Was it rough going places with him?
Not at all. He always wanted to drive, always wanted to drive. And but he said, do not under any circumstances fall asleep. You are not allowed to fall. I was terrified of falling asleep, and so I never do it. So even if I'm on road trips now, it's funny, it's ingrained in my head. Do not under any circumstances fall asleep because if someone else is driving. Um, but he was strict, but not strict. We had fun. We would stop, certain locations on the roads. We had long drives. We would sightsee, take pictures. But yeah, we always made an effort to hit the gym. We'd work out together. Um, and no, Cena was very easy to travel with. Um, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of stories, but I just don't know if I should, But yeah, it's no, he was great. Loved traveling with him and Dinsmore.
You got a funny Cena story you could share, or you just rather keep them to yourself?
Uh, it's, I mean, I guess it's funny, and well, so this one, I don't know if I've ever told this one, but it's so we were so right after the Spirit Squad ended, I came back on the road, and I was in normally when you are back on the wait, was this? I don't know, but I was gonna say I wasn't developmental, but I had a rental car for some reason, and they paid for my rental car. So he's like, Jeter, you're back on the road. I was like, yeah. And he goes, what kind of car do you got? I'm like, Dodge Charger. And it was a Hemi Dodge Charger. He goes, I'm riding with you. He said, okay. And you know how it is. Like when you're on the road, they pay for your travel, your flights, but they don't pay for your rental car or hotel. So that's something. So a lot of guys share that bill and float that bill together. So if you have a guy that's, free rental car, everyone wants to pile in with him, save the money. Not that needed to save money, but so anyway, right after the right after the show ended, uh, he's like, pull over at that Safeway over there, or something like that, at gas station. So we go in there. He gets a cooler. He gets one of those foam coolers with ice and puts like a 24 pack in it of whatever beer he had was, and he puts it in the back. And so as I'm driving, he just starts crushing beers. And then as we go, it's probably like I think we were in North Carolina, like Charlotte, driving to Raleigh, probably 290 miles. If it's over 300, they fly you. Everything was always 290, 295. So you have to drive after the show. Um, so we're driving and he's like, pull over, I gotta pee. It's like 1 in the morning. So then we pull over and I get off this off ramp and there's like this liquor store over there with a dirt parking lot with a little lamp like flickering, like just off in the middle of nowhere. So I pull over, I'm on my little Palm Pilot because that was the thing back then. And he goes and pees and comes back in and he goes, "Hey Jeter, you want to learn how to do 180s?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know how to do it." And it was stick shift. So he's like, "All right, blah blah blah." So we do 180s. We have a huge dust cloud going. We're just cracking up. And then he's like, and we're finally he's like, "All right, you want to do 360?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So as we start to do it, we kind of just like look off into the median of the freeway right there, or like the road right before the freeway. And there's a cop car just parked, staring at us. And I was like, "Oh shit." And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll do the talking, this and that. Just I'll handle this." So like, and he'd been drinking. We got all the beer coming back. So I pull out, license and registration. I go to pull mine out, and then he starts pulling his out, and then like I hand it to the cop, and like, he hands his to the cop, and the cop's like, thanks." you know. And then he goes, "Where are you guys going?" And before I could even answer, he hits my chest, like shut the fuck up. And he goes, "Sir, we're WB superstars. We're just driving from Charlotte to Raleigh. It's about 290 mile drive. We're just trying to kill the monotony of the highway by doing some 180s and 360s in the parking lot." The cop goes, "Really?" And he goes, "Any alcohol or liquor in the car?" He goes, and before I have a chance to answer, again, hits me across the chest, like, shut the fuck up. He goes, "Yes, sir. He hasn't had any. I've had enough to kill a small army." The cop's like, "I appreciate your honesty." He goes, "Any outstanding tickets or warrants?" Again, hits me across the chest, like, shut the fuck up. He goes, "He doesn't have any. I have enough to where if I get pulled over in any state, I'm going to jail." The cop goes, or maybe that was when the cop said, "I appreciate your honesty." And he goes, "Tell you what," he goes, "I'll go run the license if it's clean." He's like, "I'll let you guys go." And he ended up running my license, and again, I had a clean record. And he's like, "All right, be safe," and he's like, "Keep him under control." I'm like, "Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. On our way." And we drove off. And I don't condone drinking in the car or anything like that, blah blah blah. But that, I mean, that's what
Great
happened.
story.
Yeah, young and naive, and but yeah, it was funny.
That is funny. Wow.